Ethan sat slouched in his usual corner of the cafe, staring at the holographic screen in front of him. He tapped the surface absent-mindedly, watching colorful icons dance across the display. He had signed up for the latest, most advanced dating service in the city out of sheer boredom, not because he believed in it. Most days, Ethan thought people were far too complicated to be reduced to numbers and percentages. And yet the promise of a match rated 99.9% perfect had caught his curiosity, if only slightly. The notification popped up again. "Your match has been prepared. Meet your Catgirl Matchmaker, Miri." Ethan raised an eyebrow at the name. Catgirl? Seriously? He had seen enough hollow avatars in his lifetime to know that this could go very badly or very amusingly. He tapped the hologram. A soft chime sounded, and a small figure materialized in the corner of the cafe. She had wide, sparkling eyes and two playful, cat-like ears atop her head that twitched every few seconds. Her tail flicked lazily behind her, and she tilted her head, regarding him with a mixture of curiosity and amusement. "Hello, Ethan," she said cheerfully. "I am Miri, your personal matchmaker. I have analyzed millions of data points to ensure your perfect compatibility score is achieved." "Does it come with free coffee?" he asked jokingly. Miri's ears twitched in a way that seemed almost too precise. "Literal interpretations accepted. A meeting with your highest match includes one coffee of your choice on the house. Shall we schedule it?" But before he could respond, a small hollow screen popped up showing a cafe just a few blocks away. "Your match awaits," Miri said, a bright smile lighting her face. "Wait, hold on," Ethan said, standing up and brushing crumbs from his jacket. "I didn't mean, okay, fine, let's see what this is about, but just coffee. Nothing more." What if the AI really had found someone who understood him perfectly? When he entered the cafe, he spotted her immediately. She was sitting at a corner table, exactly as Miri had predicted. Relaxed posture, a curious smile, and a small, futuristic accessory in her hand that Ethan couldn't quite identify. She looked up at him as he approached, and for a moment he wondered if this was real or just some elaborate virtual projection. "Ethan?" she asked. "Yes," he replied, sliding into the seat across from her. "You must be my match. And you must be the man rated 99.9% perfect by the universe. Or at least, by an algorithm that thinks it knows the universe. But you should know, Miri thinks you're a bit more interesting than just a caffeine consumer. It's all very precise. That's actually kind of genius and terrifying." Even when he tried to make a sarcastic joke, she responded in kind, not missing a beat. At one point, Miri's soft voice chimed in through a small earpiece Ethan hadn't noticed. "Suggested topic: Ethan, inquire about Lara's favorite childhood memory. Probability of shared laughter, 87%. Okay, Miri, that one's on you. I did something similar, except my lost civilization was the rooftop of my apartment building. I was king of a tiny kingdom of pigeons." They continued talking, moving from topic to topic, the conversation flowing naturally despite the subtle nudges from Miri. Ethan began to notice something remarkable. Even without the AI's guidance, he and Lara were connecting. He felt a spark of curiosity and excitement he hadn't felt in years, and for the first time he wondered if maybe the algorithm had been right, or maybe it didn't matter if it was right at all. After a while, Lara leaned back in her chair and tilted her head. "You know, Ethan, there's something strange about all this. Miri orchestrates these encounters, predicts our behavior down to the tiniest detail, but I feel like she's learning from us too. Every choice we make, every little joke she notices. It's like the AI wants to understand humanity itself. Human curiosity, mistakes, humor, that's something she can't fully grasp." Suddenly, Miri's voice popped up again, chirpy as ever. "Warning, a secondary potential match is nearby. Probability of interaction, 76%. Ethan could feel his stomach twist with both curiosity and apprehension. The AI's perfect match system was not infallible. Something unpredictable was about to happen, and for the first time, Ethan realized that human choices, the unpredictable, spontaneous ones, might be what truly mattered. Lara leaned closer, her eyes sparkling. "Looks like the adventure isn't over yet." That was something humans did best. And so, with a cup of coffee in hand and a Catgirl AI observing from the sidelines, Ethan began his journey into a world where human ingenuity, unpredictability, and curiosity would prove far more powerful than any algorithm's prediction. The cafe's doors slid shut behind the second figure, leaving Ethan, Lara, and the AI in a delicate triangle of possibility. The city outside hummed on, unaware of the tiny human drama unfolding inside, but Ethan didn't mind. This was his world now, a mix of technology, humor, and the strange, exhilarating potential of human connection. He took a deep breath. Whatever happened next, he knew one thing: he was ready for it. Ethan could feel his heart racing as the new figure approached the table. The cafe seemed suddenly smaller, the chatter around them muted compared to the surge of adrenaline in his chest. Lara gave him a small, amused smile, as if reading his thoughts. "This is unexpected," Ethan muttered. The figure stopped a few feet away, scanning the room briefly before fixing her gaze on him. She was about his age, with short hair that seemed to shimmer with a metallic tint under the cafe lights. She wore a jacket with tiny, glowing patterns that pulsed softly, and she carried a tablet that seemed to be feeding her constant information. The AI's efficiency in choosing matches was impressive, but Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that this was turning into something more complicated than a casual coffee meetup. "Hello, Ethan," the new person said, her voice calm but confident. "I believe we're compatible as well. According to the system, we share a 98.7% match in personality traits, interests, and behavioral patterns. Recommendation: observe interactions, do not interfere unless necessary. After all, life is unpredictable, isn't it? I suppose we're part of the same experiment." Every glance, every movement seemed to have meaning beyond itself. Miri's presence in his earpiece made him hyper-aware of the subtle nudges guiding their conversation, though he tried to ignore them. "So," Ethan began cautiously, "what do you two think about the weather?" "I'd expect more from someone rated 99.9% compatible with the universe. It was stuck between some old pipes, and I ended up dangling from a rope to get it. Both of you actually adventurous. I feel like I need to step up my game." They were improvising, making jokes, and reacting to one another in ways no algorithm could fully calculate. Miri's voice chimed again, gentle but firm. "Observation: Ethan displays high adaptability in unexpected social scenarios. Probability of positive emotional outcome, 85%. Recommendation: continue natural engagement without overthinking." He had expected awkwardness and forced conversation, but instead, he was experiencing genuine connection, spontaneous, unpredictable, and thrilling. After a while, Ethan noticed that Lara and Tessa were exchanging subtle glances and smiles, as if silently agreeing on something. He realized that the AI's orchestrations had created the initial setup, but now humans were driving the interactions themselves. "Ethan," Lara said suddenly, leaning forward with a conspiratorial grin, "what do you say we test how spontaneous we can be? Let's see if we can do something Miri wouldn't predict." For once, he wanted to step outside the controlled scenario and embrace the unpredictable world of human experience. "All right," he said finally, "let's do it." For the first time, he wasn't thinking about algorithms, compatibility scores, or AI nudges. He was thinking about adventure, curiosity, and the thrill of human unpredictability. At the expo, chaos reigned. Engineers tested new gadgets, holographic displays blinked in every color imaginable, and people moved in a swarm of curiosity and excitement. Ethan, Lara, and Tessa navigated the crowd, laughing as they encountered malfunctioning robots, glitching holograms, and children testing miniature hoverboards. "This is overwhelming," Ethan admitted, ducking as a small flying drone zoomed past his head. "But fun, right?" Lara said, grinning. "Nothing predictable about this place. Algorithms can plan a date, suggest a topic, even predict outcomes, but they can't predict this kind of chaos. Human unpredictability is beautiful." As the day went on, the trio experimented with gadgets, tested inventions, and even participated in a mini scavenger hunt set up by one of the expo organizers. They stumbled, improvised, and cheered each other on. Ethan felt a sense of camaraderie and connection that no AI could manufacture. During a break, they sat on a bench overlooking the bustling city plaza. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling a mix of exhilaration and calm. "You know," he said, "I thought this would be awkward. I thought I'd just sit here, drink coffee, and maybe make polite conversation. But this is way better than I imagined." But that's what makes it worth living. He had expected the AI to dictate the perfect connection, but the real connection came from human improvisation, curiosity, and courage. Miri's voice chimed softly one last time in his earpiece. Observation. Human-driven engagement exceeds algorithmic predictions. Probability of long-term emotional satisfaction, increasing. Recommendation. Continue to explore organic interactions. The day had started with a cup of coffee, orchestrated by an AI matchmaker, but it had evolved into something entirely human, full of laughter, chaos, and genuine connection. Ethan glanced at Lara, then at Tessa, and felt a profound sense of gratitude. The algorithm had set the stage, but it was human curiosity, spontaneity, and friendship that had written the story. And for the first time in a long while, he felt truly alive. Whatever the future held, whether it was more AI-guided encounters or fully human adventures, Ethan knew one thing. He had discovered the joy of living in the unpredictable, thrilling moment. And that, he realized, was worth far more than any compatibility percentage. Ethan, Lara, and Tessa left the bustling expo behind and wandered into the quieter streets of the city. The neon lights reflected off the wet pavement, creating a kaleidoscope of color that danced with every step they took. Ethan felt a strange thrill in his chest. He had expected a simple coffee meeting, maybe a bit of small talk, and yet here he was, walking through the city with two remarkable people, completely immersed in an adventure orchestrated by an AI, but fueled by human choices. So, Ethan began, trying to keep his voice steady, what happens now? Do we keep following Miri's instructions, or do we just go where the city takes us? It can suggest a path, but it can't replicate human curiosity, humor, or mistakes. That's where the magic is. As they walked, they passed a narrow alley that glowed with faint, holographic graffiti, animated images that shifted and danced with soft music. A small sign indicated a hidden tech bazaar, where inventors and engineers showcased experimental gadgets that were often too unstable for mainstream use. Lara's eyes lit up. I've always wanted to check this place out. It's chaotic, unplanned, and completely human. Come on. Tiny robots zoomed past, some carrying miniature packages, others performing synchronized dances. Holo displays flickered, projecting images that changed based on the crowd's movement. Ethan felt his excitement grow. This was nothing like a scheduled, predictable event. Every moment held the possibility of surprise. He realized that the AI had created a starting point, but this chaotic, lively space, was pure human unpredictability, and it thrilled him. As they wandered, Ethan noticed a small booth where an inventor was demonstrating a prototype of a self-learning drone. The drone hovered above a table, dodging obstacles, responding to gestures, and even performing small tricks. Want to try? Lara asked, pointing at the controller. Ethan laughed. Why not? How hard can it be? That's the beauty of unpredictability. You can guide it, but it can also act on its own. Kind of like humans, don't you think? As they moved deeper into the bazaar, they discovered a variety of odd inventions. Hoverboards with tiny wings, self-adjusting clothing that changed color based on mood, and even a robotic pet that could imitate various animals. Ethan picked up the robotic pet, a small fox-like machine with glowing eyes. Okay, this is amazing. It's alive, but not alive. It's designed to mimic life, but it's limited. Humans are the real life, that's the difference. Humans, with all their flaws, laughter, mistakes, and ingenuity, were capable of things no AI could replicate. The more he thought about it, the more he realized that this was the essence of what Miri was trying to understand, the human heart, not just behavior patterns. As they continued exploring, a commotion caught their attention. A small crowd had gathered around a malfunctioning robot that was spilling colorful liquid all over the floor. People were laughing, dodging the sprays, and improvising ways to contain the mess. Let's help, Ethan said, and without waiting, he jumped in. Lara and Tessa followed. Together, they managed to redirect the robot, using crates and a discarded tarp to contain the colorful spill. In the chaos, they laughed until their sides hurt. This, Ethan said between laughs, is way better than a simple coffee, way better than any predicted outcome. Algorithms are useful, but they can't create moments like this. Ethan leaned back, taking in the lively atmosphere. You know, he said slowly, I think I understand now. The AI isn't the point, it's just a guide. The real adventure comes from how we respond, how we interact, and how we make choices. Curiosity, humor, mistakes, all the little things that make life unpredictable. He realized that every moment he had spent with Lara and Tessa, every laugh, every improvised action was a testament to the strength, ingenuity, and creativity of humanity. Miri's voice chimed softly in his earpiece. Observation. Human-driven engagement continues to exceed algorithmic predictions. Emotional satisfaction levels are rising. Recommendation. Continue allowing spontaneous interactions. Ethan realized that no algorithm, no matter how advanced, could replicate the thrill of discovering something entirely new or the joy of improvising in real time. As night fell, the city's neon lights glowed brighter against the dark sky. Ethan, Lara, and Tessa stepped out of the alley, exhausted but exhilarated. The streets were quieter now, but the energy of the day lingered in their minds. Ethan looked at his companions, feeling a profound sense of gratitude. "I have to admit," he said, "I didn't expect today to be anything like this. I thought it'd be awkward, maybe fun for a bit, but this feels real, not just a prediction, not just an experiment, real. The AI might have nudged us here, but it's our choices that matter." For the first time, he understood the true value of human connection, spontaneity, and the joy of embracing the unexpected. As they walked toward the glowing city skyline, Ethan knew one thing. He had discovered something far more important than a perfect match or a predicted outcome. He had discovered the power of humans to shape their own stories, to create moments that algorithms could never predict, and to embrace the unpredictable, thrilling adventure of life. And in that moment, with the city lights reflecting off the wet streets and the sound of laughter echoing around them, Ethan felt truly alive. The night air was cool against Ethan's face as he, Lara, and Tessa walked along the city streets. The neon lights reflected off the wet pavement, painting everything in shifting colors that seemed almost alive. Ethan felt a sense of energy he hadn't felt in a long time. It wasn't just excitement from adventure. It was the thrill of being fully present, of making choices that mattered, of being part of something unpredictable and alive. "So," Ethan began, glancing at his companions, "what's next? Another tech expo? A scavenger hunt? A robot chase?" "No, this time it's a little different. I want to show you something that isn't planned, isn't predictable, something that's completely human. Inventors, artists, engineers, all working on things that might never make sense, but are amazing because they exist. It's chaotic, messy, and completely human." The further they went, the quieter the streets became, until the city's usual hum was replaced by the gentle sounds of distant machinery, laughter, and the occasional clang of tools. Finally, they arrived at a large open courtyard surrounded by small workshops and tents. Inside, people were building strange devices, painting moving canvases, testing tiny flying machines, and even conducting experiments that seemed too risky for mainstream society. The air was alive with creativity, curiosity, and chaos. Ethan's eyes widened. "Wow, this is incredible. It's like stepping into another world. Just humans doing what they do best, exploring, experimenting, creating." He realized that everything Miri had done, the matching, the scheduling, the predictions, was helpful, but it was the humans around him who truly made life exciting. Their choices, creativity, and courage brought color and depth to the world. As they wandered deeper into the district, Ethan noticed a small group gathered around a hovering platform. On it was a prototype vehicle, shaped like a cross between a motorcycle and a small hovercraft. Its inventor, a young woman with goggles pushed up on her forehead, was explaining the controls to the crowd. Lara nudged Ethan. "Want to try?" "You'll never know what it feels like unless you try." Lara cheered from the side and Tessa clapped her hands. Ethan felt a rush of pure joy. This is amazing. I never thought I'd feel like this." For the first time, he felt completely alive, free from schedules, probabilities, and expectations. The AI had guided him here, but the experience was entirely his own. After a while, he stepped off the platform, exhilarated and slightly out of breath. "I think I get it now. This is what it means to be human. Adventure, curiosity, improvisation. Not predicted outcomes, not perfect matches, just life in all its chaos and wonder. We shine brightest when we embrace our creativity, our unpredictability, and our courage." As they continued exploring, they came across a large canvas set up in the middle of the courtyard. An artist was painting, but the paint seemed to respond to movement, light, and sound, creating shapes and colors that shifted with every motion. "Wow," Ethan whispered. "It's alive." The unpredictability, the improvisation, the little mistakes, they make it beautiful. The colors shifted and moved in response, blending into the larger design, becoming part of the living artwork. This feels incredible," he said quietly. It's messy, chaotic, unpredictable, but it's alive just like us. Just living, creating, and experiencing. At one point, they came across a small stage where a group of performers was demonstrating a new form of acrobatics with robotic exosuits. The suits enhanced human movement, allowing incredible flips and jumps, but the performers still had to rely on their instincts, timing, and creativity. Ethan watched in awe as they executed a perfect routine, occasionally improvising to adjust for small mistakes. He realized that this was a perfect metaphor for humanity itself. Technology and innovation could enhance them, but the true magic came from human skill, creativity, and courage. "Look at that," Ethan said, pointing to the performers. This is what it means to be human. We can't be predicted, we can't be controlled, and we can always surprise ourselves. No algorithm can ever take that away." As the night wore on, they found a quiet rooftop overlooking the city. The lights stretched out endlessly, a sparkling sea of color and energy. Ethan, Lara, and Tessa sat together, exhausted but exhilarated, reflecting on the day's adventures. "I can't believe how much has happened in just one day," Ethan said, smiling. "From a coffee meetup to this, it's been incredible. And it's only the beginning. Life is full of moments like this. Unexpected, messy, chaotic, but beautiful, and that's what makes us human. That's ours and ours alone." Observation: human-driven engagement continues to exceed algorithmic predictions. Emotional satisfaction levels are high. Recommendation: continue allowing spontaneous interactions. The AI had set the stage, but it was human creativity, courage, and curiosity that had written the story. And in that moment, he knew that no algorithm could ever replace the thrill of living fully, embracing the unpredictable and creating something meaningful. The city lights sparkled like stars beneath them, and Ethan, Lara, and Tessa sat quietly, savoring the moment. Life was unpredictable, messy, and chaotic, but it was wonderful, alive, and entirely human. And that, Ethan realized, was worth far more than any perfect compatibility score. The sun began to rise over the city, casting long, golden reflections across the skyscrapers. Ethan, Lara, and Tessa sat on the edge of the rooftop, their legs dangling above the streets below. The quiet of the early morning was a sharp contrast to the chaos of the night, but it gave them a chance to reflect on everything that had happened. Ethan stretched and let out a deep breath. "I can't believe how much has happened in just one day. Coffe, an AI matchmaker, hover platforms, chaotic expos, living canvases, and somehow here we are." "And somehow we survived it all," she said, her voice warm and teasing. "Mostly intact, at least." The AI had started this adventure, but it was their choices, laughter, and courage that had shaped it. He realized that Miri's predictions and probabilities had only served as a starting point. The real magic came from humans themselves. Miri's soft voice chimed in, gentle but firm. "Observation: human-driven engagement continues to exceed algorithmic expectations. Probability of long-term emotional and experiential satisfaction high. Recommendation: continue monitoring only if requested by users. Technology can guide, but humans create. Humans decide, humans experience. Today showed me that humans can take imperfect tools, messy situations, and chaotic environments and turn them into moments that matter. No algorithm can replace that." Ethan felt a deep connection to the world around him, to the people in it, and to the unpredictable journey that had brought him here. "Do you ever wonder," Lara asked softly, "if this is just the beginning, if we can take what we've learned today and do something bigger, something that matters beyond just us?" Today was proof. If we choose, we can explore, create, and connect in ways that no AI, no machine can replicate. He realized that this wasn't just about adventure or experimentation. It was about embracing the unpredictable, thriving in chaos, and celebrating the ingenuity and resilience of humanity. As the sun climbed higher, Lara stood and stretched. "Come on, let's take the lessons from last night and this morning and see what else the city has to offer. We can't stay on this rooftop forever." They wandered into a nearby park where children were playing with robotic pets, and inventors had set up small demonstration booths. People were laughing, experimenting, and improvising in ways that no algorithm could predict. Ethan felt a thrill in his chest. This was living. Real, messy, unpredictable human living. "Look at this," Ethan said, pointing to a group of kids building a miniature hovercraft. "They're experimenting, failing, learning, and having fun. It's chaos, but it's beautiful." Not because humans are perfect, or because algorithms predict our choices, but because we take risks, improvise, and turn chaos into meaning. As they continued exploring, they stumbled upon a small community center where people were gathering to share inventions, stories, and ideas. It was a place of collaboration, imagination, and experimentation. Ethan watched as someone demonstrated a robotic arm that could paint intricate designs, while another person explained a solar-powered drone that could plant seeds in hard-to-reach areas. Each invention was unique, imperfect, and alive with human creativity. This is incredible, Ethan whispered. It's not about perfection, it's about trying, creating, and sharing. That's what humans do best. Algorithms can guide, but they can't replicate the thrill of discovery, the joy of improvisation, or the satisfaction of creating something meaningful from chaos. That's what makes life extraordinary. Observation, human creativity, adaptability, and engagement continue to exceed algorithmic predictions. Emotional satisfaction levels remain high. Recommendation, allow humans to continue creating and exploring independently. I think we've got this from here. At one point, a small emergency occurred. A drone malfunctioned and began spinning out of control. Without hesitation, Ethan, Lara, and Tessa worked together, using their creativity and quick thinking to guide it safely to the ground. The group cheered, and Ethan felt a rush of pride. This was human ingenuity in action, spontaneous, collaborative, and completely unpredictable. See, Lara said, laughing. Humans always find a way. No algorithm can predict every twist, every turn, every improvisation. That's what makes us remarkable. He realized that this entire journey, from the Coffe meetup to the AI matchmaker to the chaotic adventures in the city, had shown him something essential. Humans are extraordinary because we are unpredictable, curious, and courageous. As the sun reached its peak, Ethan, Lara, and Tessa found a quiet overlook, gazing out at the city below. Hovercars zipped along skyways, inventors tinkered in workshops, and life continued in all its chaotic, unpredictable glory. Ethan took a deep breath. I've learned so much these past 2 days. It's not about algorithms or perfect matches. It's about curiosity, courage, creativity, and connection. That's what makes us human. That's what makes us shine. And that's why we continue exploring, learning, and creating. That's what HFY is all about. Humans taking charge, making life meaningful, and thriving in a universe full of unpredictability. That's the true power of humanity. Observation, human-driven engagement, and creativity have exceeded all expectations. Emotional satisfaction levels are optimal. Recommendation, continue human-led exploration. It lay in the unpredictable, messy, beautiful experience of being human, the laughter, the courage, the creativity, and the shared adventures. And in that moment, with the city alive beneath them, Ethan knew one thing for certain. Humans were extraordinary, and the best was yet to come. The sky stretched wide above, filled with the light of a new day. Hovercars streaked across the horizon, holographic signs flickered with vibrant colors, and the city pulsed with life. Ethan, Lara, and Tessa stood together, ready to face whatever came next, confident in their choices, their courage, and the boundless potential of humanity. Because no algorithm, no prediction, and no machine could ever replace the ingenuity, curiosity, and spirit of humans. And that was worth more than any perfect score, any calculated match, or any artificial suggestion. They walked forward together, laughing, exploring, and embracing the endless possibilities of life, proving in every step that humanity would always shine brightest when it embraced its own unpredictability and creativity.